I know you've been waiting for it, so we're not going to keep you in suspense any longer. It's not just the Will of the Wisps, it's the Will of the Chat. Here it comes, Ori and the Will of the Wisps with Vulajin. Take it away.
All right. Whew. Cool. Oh, I should be on the main menu. Hi. Good morning, everybody. My name is Vulajin. I am here today with Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and we're going to play this game, which is the recently released sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm going to be joined this morning by Phant. Phant, how are you doing?
Doing great. Excited to see this run in action. It's pretty crazy, especially with how soon after release this run is taking place, and it truly is incredible, like how the community's come together to just break this game wide open.
It really has, and so pretty much we'll just get right into it. I do want to say, if you haven't played Ori and the Will of the Wisps yet, it has only been a month. I don't think it's been on sale yet. We're not going to see a lot of the story, kind of, so you're probably okay until after the last hit on the last boss, which I guess it's a spoiler that there's bosses in this game. But if you really don't want spoilers, and that's kind of all you're really concerned about, basically just switch tabs at that point for about 4 minutes, and then when you hear the noises of GDQ going back to bright screen, then you're good to go. But for now, we're going to start. This is any % on easy mode, which is clearly for players who want to focus more on story and less on challenging gameplay. So we're going to do the opposite of that because we're speedrunners. And we'll go ahead and get started very shortly. So I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So just like Ori and the Blind Forest, there is a beautiful, touching, emotional, blah, 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 etc. prologue that we skip. And then we also exit to menu and reload right afterwards to skip a cutscene. We'll be doing that a few times throughout the run. So just like Ori and the Blind Forest, this is a Metroidvania in the 2D style. And as it is Metroidvania, we'll be starting it off in the Metroidvania tradition of picking up items. These are Spirit Light containers. They are worth 50 Spirit Light each. Spirit Light's just a currency in this game instead of being experience points. And we're going to be using it a little bit later on. We need 350, and that's what we'll be collecting. In the meantime, we, of course, need to go and collect a bunch of different abilities and skills and things like that. And we're starting with this torch, which is actually a weapon, and that's something kind of new to this game, right, Phant?
Yeah, and in addition to being a weapon, which there'll be a lot more we're coming up with soon, it has a couple interesting movement mechanics, and one of those is what we call torch hovering. And by spamming the up attack with the torch, you will preserve your height somewhat and allows you to cross gaps such as this one. And we can bypass a little bit of a section there where you're supposed to extinguish the torch and learn how to climb on that blue looking vine over there on the right, or the blue glowy grass. And by having the torch, we can bypass that entirely. And now we're done with the torch. It's a temporary item, but because we have no way of extinguishing it, we're kind of holding on to it for now. And just gonna use it to break some more of these little barriers to get some spirit light. But we got a keystone there, and the keystones open up keystone doors, pretty self-explanatory. But they're not locked to any specific door. So any keystone can be used to open up any keystone door in the game, and there are several of them, and more on that later. But we're going to be heading out and doing some backtracking, because what would a backtracking, or what would a Metroidvania be without some backtracking, right?
And for that matter, what kind of Ori game would it be if it didn't involve some depths? But it's fine. We are going to take a dip in this lake here, as Phant just foreshadowed that we need to get rid of that torch, so we have just done so. That is because we are coming to the first boss. This is Howl. Yeah, this game has bosses. If you play Blind Forest, that's something new. But fortunately, true to the Ori formula, it does start with a chase sequence. And Howl is, I guess, not very happy for, I don't know, whatever sort of glowy monster wolf recency he has. So at the end of this little brief chase sequence, there's going to be a scripted bit where we get another torch. This one we can actually use in combat here. You just need to deal 4 hits to Howl. And then as soon as we've dealt the 4th hit, that's enough damage to finish the encounter, and we can reload and go ahead and move on. The reload there, there's an autosave immediately after you deal the last hit, and we're able to reload, and it's already past that. So just a nice little time save. We do actually time this run by loadless time, so we subtract out load screens, such as those when you exit to menu, which actually means in some cases it's faster to reload from the menu than it is to watch a thing. But I'll try to avoid doing that in places where it is slower real time. In the meantime, we're getting our first skill here. This is the Spirit Edge. It's a sword. So, you know, we just played Pokemon Sword. Now we're going to use Ori's sword, which I guess those things are similar. But we're pretty much just going to be navigating to the next skill tree, too, at this point. And otherwise, aside from some reloads, there's not a whole lot going on. So we're actually going to go ahead and let you have a moment here, Crunchy, for some donations.
Certainly. Have $20 from Steph152. Let's go, Vulajin. Had to get my donation in for Ori. Here's hoping your sentry jumps are max height, bless RNG, and you hold right faster than you've ever held right before.
Thank you.
And let's see, we also have $250 from Fast B87. Had to donate during my bro Vulajin's run. Good luck, dude. Keep being awesome. And that goes to the whole GDQ community as well.
Thanks, dude.
All right, thank you. So you saw Vulajin cross a gap there. It looked like nothing really happened, but the sword can give you some additional horizontal movement or vertical movement, depending on the type of attack you do. And you used it to bypass a fight room there to get straight to the double jump tree. And double jump gives you the skill double jump, pretty self-explanatory, allows you to jump twice. And an interesting thing in this game is if you hit something with your sword, it refreshes your double jump. That's going to be very, very important later on. And one interesting thing about this game that I guess isn't too common in most Metroidvanias, but more common in their sequels, is that the game is pretty front-loaded on its skills, and double jump being a very powerful movement skill and going to open up a ton of movement options, and one of them coming up right here. That's pretty important.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a skip here called Door Skip. It's pretty infamous. You might have seen me on this screen when the transition happened. We're going to collect this key, and then we're going to try to do some ludicrously precise jumps here to skip having to use it on that key door down there. We didn't even get the other key that is intended for this. If I pull this off, then I am able to save a fairly substantial amount of time. Sadly, it tends to go in streaks a little bit, and right at this moment, I'm having a little bit of difficulty, but the idea is that we're going to touch a spot on the ceiling that is really not intended so much to be touched and wall jumped off of, and that requires a very precise setup. So that's really the part that I'm struggling with right now, is just getting the specifically timed jump here and having it award me basically with the touch. This game has kind of forgiving wall jump mechanics, and that is why this is possible, but it also has it looked like it was it, but it wasn't going to be it. It also has some very precise things that result from that. Also, sword kind of sucks for maintaining your height here. We on the original launch patch of this game, we used to be able to do this while still having the torch, and that was really nice for all the times that you fail this trick. Which is a pretty infamous trick, which I'm hoping to not have to talk about for much longer, but we'll see. All the all the other community members are just looking and they're like, ha 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 ha. But meanwhile, I'm just getting incrementally more nervous while I think about, hey, Crunchy, yeah, what kind of donations we got? Yeah, huh? Donations? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got those. Don't worry. We got those.
Oh, no, I was lying. Yes, that's all I needed to say to get the trick. All right.
The mental RNG manipulation for Vulajin right there. Good job, man.
You're going to get an opportunity in a sec anyway, Crunchy. So we're now out of How's Den. We finished the dumb trick, well, one of several. And now we're going to be continuing on our way to the next little bit and the rest of the story. But the only real interesting thing here as we go for the moment is just we're going to be skipping the next skill tree, which is going to have the regenerate skill. It's right down there. If you think of Hollow Knight, you can spend energy basically to regenerate your health. We don't need that, so we're going to move on and go right ahead.
What, me?
Oh, yeah, you.
Okay, I got this. We have $200 from Sia Rennie. Had to donate during the series that got me into speedrunning. Much love to the Ori community who were so supportive when I was first learning. Y'all are wonderful people. And huge thanks to GDQ for supporting a great cause during this difficult time. Stay safe, stay home.
How wonderful. All right, so that XP, or Spirit Light, as we call it, is going to come in handy right now. We're going to buy this ability from our friend over here called Sentry. And Sentry, it normally creates a turret that auto attacks enemies nearby, but we're going to be using it for something completely different called Sentry Jumps. And by pressing Sentry with an up / on the same frame as you are on the ground, it'll cause you to gain a ridiculous amount of height, as Vulajin is going to show off here momentarily. As soon as he equips it, and yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. You can also do it in the air as well, but it's a very precise window to do so. You have to press the buttons a number of frames apart, an exact number of frames apart, but Vulajin making it look easy right there.
Indeed. Now we're gonna get the next skill, which, as you can see, involves, I almost quit the menu there, involves a little bit of poison water swimming. So just like in the Blind Forest, when you start the game, the water is poison and deals damage to you every second while you're swimming in it. But it turns out on easy difficulty, that's one of the few things that actually is easy on this. Oh, get up there. In the speedrun, you can just kind of swim through it because you just happen to have enough health. So we went ahead and did that and got the bow skill. We need to use it to shoot these little eye switches so that we can collect these eye stones, which are basically decorated keystones. This is the only time you're going to see this graphic, but they're just needed to get access to the next area, KrunchyLex Hollow. And we're going to skip a quick cutscene there, and then this next cutscene doesn't have a skip option, but it does have the ability, an autosave, and the ability to quit to menu. And this one's actually like only barely faster in terms of real time. And like I said, I was only gonna skip the ones like that were faster. The reason I reload there is I actually wanted to get an energy refill that you get when you reload.
Yeah, Vulajin's buying overcharge here, which more on that later. But yeah, quitting to menu and reloading, it refills your HP, and we're gonna abuse that right here with or it's the same thing that happens when you die as well. So Vulajin's swimming here, trying to find an autosave trigger, which he finds first try, and that death refills his HP and will allow him to continue going through the other side of this dirty water here. And yeah, it's all blind movement. You can't see where you're going, so it's a little bit precise to hit that exact loading zone trigger. Yeah, we're doing some movement, and we're coming down here in order to reach the next skill in the game, and that's going to be dash.
That's right, and we also, as I mentioned, like we wanted that energy back from the refill there. The reason was to bring that single energy all the way down here to this switch at the door down here, and that would allow me to do a sentry jump. And then same deal, I just reloaded right there to get one. I tried to double jump out of that sentry jump. Double jump's pretty nice for canceling certain animations and killing your vertical momentum sometimes. For some reason, it didn't take the input. But in any case, here we get the dash skill from this nice horizontally oriented dash tree. Cute little taste of the skill that they put into the shape of the tree. And now we're just trying to get back up and back to the top above the poison water. And in order to do so, we'll make use of some sentry jumps, or at least we'll try. Sometimes it doesn't go as well as you like because it is a frame perfect input, which is difficult to do consistently, but that's all right. We are also going to have to redo... Oh my god, it's over. The mosquitoes are killing me. We're also going to have to redo the poison water swim here in the opposite direction. Also, since I just took some damage, I'm going to go ahead and reload to get another health refill, because I do need all of my health to do this next swim section. Alright, so now I'm at full health and energy. That's what the energy cell was for. I just barely missed the autosave trigger there. So you're looking in the bottom left corner of the screen for a little icon, that thing. That indicates that I hit the autosave, and that was needed in order to be able to do this part. But I also need this damage off of these spikes here, because if I get hit by the spikes, it delays the poison water damage, and that allows me to survive. Unfortunately, game seems to be disagreeing with me on whether I'm actually starting my swim quick enough to get up here. And also, it's knocking me back to the right, which is really kind of annoying. I'm pretty sure I'm facing to the right, which should cause the knockback to go the other direction, but it's fine. Nobody's ever died to this swim before. I'm definitely the first. No, seriously, game. I don't...
Yeah, I, for one, have never died here, not once.
Yes, that's probably true. Not once. Probably more than once. I don't know why I reload there. I didn't need the energy refill. It's fine. All right. So this switch, the effect of this switch is actually to lower the water below, which is funny. We just swam through that. It was dirty. Wouldn't it have been easier to hit that switch earlier? Well, no, it wouldn't have, because if we had, it would have put poison water just slightly lower in a different spot. It's actually easier to do the poison water swim at the spot that it is by default. And also, it's slower to get to the switch until you've acquired dash. So this is a spirit well. It's just a stationary save point where we'll be able to get a full energy refill because we do need one right now.
Yeah, energy always going to be used at any point because Sentry costs 1 energy per use, and you don't get too many retries. But we're gonna pass through a mini boss here. I promise you, there is a mini boss here. Don't worry about it. We're not gonna fight it because that would be slow. And normally in the casual playthrough of this game, this is where you're going to find Bash. There's this little pile of breakable rocks on the ground, and we're just going to go right on by because we don't need Bash in this speed run. And one thing to note you're going to see here is something called dash canceling. And by pressing sword and dash in quick succession, you kind of reset your dash and you can go really fast. And well, now we are in a pacification zone, and we're going to skip a cutscene here where our friend Kolok is going to send us on this great journey to go clean some water and fight some bosses. Well, that's in order to clean some dirty water, as these Mokis, these adorable furry creatures here, will tell us like, oh, we can't swim, it's bad water, sad water. Oh, how sad. Well, we're not going to have to swim through that purple, disgusting, dangerous water because we have the ability to go out of bounds. And that is done by pressing dash and sword 2 frames apart. And with any luck, Ori's just going to phase into the wall. And this is very precise, very hard to do, and bam, 3rd try, I think it was, very good. Now, Vulajin's trying to find another one of those autosave triggers, so look on the bottom left, that circle that's going to come up. There it is, and by reloading and coming back into the game, it will place Ori at that autosave location, bringing you back inbound, so very convenient. Now, we're heading into Silent Woods here. This is really the big turning point in the story. You know, a lot of important events happen here.
How about we skip all that? We'll just find some sort of, I mean, I'm sure we have maybe some sort of tool in our possession to skip a lot of crap. We'll start with this part where there's all this like mud and stuff. This mud is actually instant death if you touch it. But you know, we have some techniques to be able to maintain our height and die. We have some techniques for dying. But we're just going to try to get through here without having to wait around for the bubble cycles, basically. Of course, the bubble cycles have their own ideas. This is actually the first 2 times I think that I've died here tonight. So there you go. Oh, don't you dare. Okay. So now we've got 1 keystone for this 2 keystone door, but we stole 1 earlier for door skip. So that was convenient. And now we are going to do one of the largest skips in the game. There's an important story cutscene coming up here where some stuff would happen. We don't want to watch that. We don't want the outcome of watching that. So we're going to try to do an air sentry jump here in a very specific position to get over that cutscene trigger. That is beautiful. So we have skipped that entire sequence, and that also means that we don't end up on the back of a bird friend who, while very helpful, is also very slow. But I'll tell you one thing that the bird friend does do. She lets us fly, and without her, we can't do that. That's rough. I guess we'll have to clip through things.
Not being able to fly. Not being able to fly. Well, we have to replace it with something, and that is sentry jumps. And you may have noticed that now Vulajin is only spending half an energy per sentry jump, and that's because of that skill overcharge we bought way back in the beginning of the game. And doing another one of those dash clips, same type of mechanic as we did to skip that poison water segment to break in, and once again finding an autosave trigger in order to reload and put us back in bounds. And a side effect of overcharge that gives us half energy cost is that you take double damage. And these spikes are dangerous and they hurt a lot, but we need to go sit in those spikes in order to take a damage boost, get on the ground in order to perform a sentry jump. And we're also going to abuse the fact that every time you die or reload the game, it refills your HP up to a maximum of 4. And that makes it a little bit more forgiving. So, if a sentry jump doesn't go off or you're in the slightly wrong position, you'll be okay and try again. But man, Vulajin making it through that spiked corridor there very easily, it's spooky to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I had to make at least one section there, like you see. Oh man, so we're coming up on 2 fairly big skips, both involving sentry jumps, which is good that we did collect and make use of the overcharge shard, as Phant was describing. One here, we're gonna try to do a sentry jump and bonk the ceiling in a specific spot that redirects us over a cutscene trigger that would cause a very slow cutscene. And now we're gonna have to do a very similar kind of thing over here. This area is the feeding grounds. The main villain of the game is in the background there and really wants to play hide and seek with us. I need to perform 2 optimal air sentry jumps, again frame perfect, in order to get through this area. And I only have 1.5 energy from this save, if this save will load. So I get 3 shots, and I need to do 2 of them successfully. So there's 1, and I want to do another one here, and instead I did not, so we're going to reload again. Nice thing, fortunately, this game is very, very generous on the autosaves. Ori and the Blind Forest had a manual save scheme where you had to literally create your own save points. And I guess casual players probably died a lot as a result of that and lost a lot of time. So now there are just autosaves throughout the game. I was kind of dreading the idea of coming in here with like 1 or 1.5 energy. I was hoping to have a little more because as it turns out, this awkward frame perfect timing is a little bit difficult to do consistently, but there you go. If you land in a certain spot there, this part of this cutscene causes Ori to just peace out directly into the ceiling, and now we're out of bounds again, and we're just gonna real quick collect some energy, hit an autosave trigger, as Phant has been emphasizing, and when we reload, we will be back in bounds.
Now, those of you who have played this game know that the next segment is where we head to the final dungeon, pick up the final skill. But it's a long auto-scroller elevator ride where we fight some enemies, but instead we're just going to go out of bounds using another trick right there. Now, in this area, there's a whole bunch of void-out zones on the way up the elevator shaft, and it doesn't look like Vulajin's doing anything special out of bounds, but I promise you he is. There's a whole bunch of void-out zones, and if we hit any of them, they'll place you back in bounds at your nearest save. And you're doing all of this with really not being able to see Ori at all. And just navigating up to one of those autosave triggers, there it is, and once more, quitting the menu, reloading the game to put us back in bounds and on the way to the launch tree.
Indeed. One interesting thing you'll be starting to see here, remember we didn't get Bash, and this is an area that's really designed for it. Bash is a skill that in Ori and the Blind Forest, it would allow you to basically turn enemies and projectiles into platforms for all intents and purposes. In this game, we can make do using the sword refresh of our double jump, as Phant mentioned earlier, as well as this skill, Launch, the last one we're going to acquire, which allows us to basically bash ourselves. So that's pretty nice, and it's the last skill we need. Just going to come back out here to the elevator shaft. There's actually a wall there, but we'll just hit an autosave trigger, and now we can go back in bounds. So we're about to head to the final dungeon. Crunchy, this seems like a real good time for some donations, right up until about we get to the center, like, core room in this dungeon.
All right, sounds good. We have $50 from J Hobbs. Good luck, Vula. Love from all your Ori friends. Also, Windswept Waste's best trial. Never forget.
It's not wrong.
I agree.
I have $10 from Infinite Bread. Had to donate for one of my favorite games. Love the Ori speedrun community, and I'm impressed to see a run of Will of the Wisps so soon after release.
Not laughing at the donation, laughing at my... go on, continue.
Okay. We have $25 from Raziel. Ori and the Vulajin. Hype! Sending some love from the Ori speedrunning community. Heart. And $10 from Papa Hat 84. Have been watching GDQ for years, love everything you guys do, and had to donate during Ori, my favorite game of this year.
Cool. All right.
Again, those of you who have played the game, you're supposed to destroy 8 corrupt hearts, and we go through that laser, don't worry about it, in order to open up the final door to get to the escape sequence. But we're lacking an ability that hard locks one of those hearts, so spoilers, we're going to go out of bounds again. But this time we're not going to have an autosave trigger to allow us to go back inbounds this time.
That's right. We are looking to get to that teleporter right there. So what we're going to do is perform a couple clips. One between 2 out-of-bounds areas there. You didn't even get to see that I did a clip. And the other one, we're just going to do the wiggle pretty much. And now we're back in bounds. So again, I'll just remind you, if you wanted to avoid spoilers, just make sure you, kind of switch to a different tab right after we defeat the final boss, which is this. So this is Shriek. She's very angry. Phase 1 is done, and we're just going to move on to Phase 2. But we're going to have a little bit of an interlude in true Ori fashion. It's a chase.
Yeah, what would an Ori game be without a chase sequence? This one, for the most part, pretty straightforward, using a combination of dash and launch to cross these very large gaps in order to make it to the end. And there is this ability called Burrow that we skipped by not going to the Windswept Wastes. And normally that's needed to go through this little pillar here, but by using sentry jumps, we can kind of go over it instead and damage boosting through these spikes, and conveniently just walk over it and through the clouds and onto the final platform where phases 2 and 3 of the fight are going to happen.
All right, so Phase 2, there's going to be a little bit of randomness. Shriek just kind of does whatever she wants. I'm just going to do my best to sneak in as much damage as possible. Unfortunately, not a great job on that one. And bad RNG too, good. So this attack is not a time during which you can damage her, so that's unfortunate. But this one, I can damage her, so I just need to deal a couple more hits. Okay, cool. And now she is pushed into Phase 3. So as she lands in the background, I'm going to go ahead and take an intentional death. This will give me a health refill. If I'd taken less damage earlier, I wouldn't have needed that refill. So that's a shame, but fortunately it's pretty quick. Phase 3 is not going to last too long, but it is going to involve Shriek destroying all of the ground. And I don't have the feather, which I could use to glide, and I don't have bash. So I have kind of few options to stay in the air for the last little bit here. I'm going to start with a sentry jump, a dash and a jump to avoid that one. I do know which direction these swoops are coming from. I've managed to dodge all of them, 6 more hits, and that is the final hit. All right.
That was insanely well done, Vulajin. But we're just going to have a little bit of cutscene to watch and a brief hold right segment, but story spoilers will be coming, so if you haven't played this game and don't want to be spoiled on the ending, you may want to avert your eyes and ears to another tab for a couple minutes, and until then, let's enjoy.
And now is a great time to do, get all the shout outs and thanks out of the way. I really want to acknowledge speedrunning is kind of like it's a team effort. It's a team sport, basically. And so I'm the one sitting here this morning getting to do this run, but the number of people who have contributed different things to this category already just in the course of about a month and 10 days or something like that is just ridiculous. I actually tried to make a list earlier. I was like, let me call out some specific people. And I just kept finding people who I would have left out if I'd stopped at some point. So really just everyone in the Ori community has worked really hard to make this a great run. I also want to specifically call out Onan, the owner and moderator of the Ori Speedrun Discord, and a longtime community member. He's been around since literally day one of Blind Forest, and they are also a QA analyst for Moon Studios, as well as our good friend Sigma Sign. If you've watched Ori GDQ appearances before, you have seen him, and he now is also an employee of Moon Studios, and they've just made a fantastic game. It's sincerely one of the best games I've ever played. But yeah, also thanks, of course, to Phant for joining me. I'm actually going to not even give you a chance to acknowledge that, because I do want to, just during this final little bit here, I'm just going to hold right for a bit. I will call time. It's at the end of this little cross section, but I guess the game, like Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisp, are both very like hopeful games that tell us that there's a lot bad can happen, but there's always good to come out of it. So let's just enjoy this in silence. Time is coming up, and time. Ooh.
Well done. What was your final time there, Vulajin?
Let's find out. I see on stream it's looks like 29 something real time. So again, for timing this game on the leaderboards, we actually use thank you, it's 29:14 I hear, and for timing on the leaderboards, we actually use real time minus loads. And I actually had my live split running. It tells me that it was a 27:09 by the leaderboard timing, which is within about 3 minutes of my PB, so pretty good considering the spaghetti on like especially door skip. I will get out of the way momentarily. I just want to wrap up by saying that this is a really, really important cause, obviously, to everybody. And to use some words that a friend of mine, Roos SR, used, the absolute best thing that you can do personally to help everybody can do is stay home and just don't just stay home. Just stay home. That's it. Just stay home. And let's take care of each other. And if you can, support Direct Relief monetarily. And if you cannot, just spread the word and like make sure that people know that they have an opportunity to do anything that's in their power. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for having me.
Vulajin, thank you so much. Vulajin, thank you so much for that amazing run and for those great words at the end. I'm sure we can all take those to heart. Hello out there again, once again, everybody. My name is KrunchyLex. This is Corona Relief Done Quick, powered by Twitch, raising money for Direct Relief and their ongoing efforts to provide personal protective equipment for medical professionals working to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Everybody, make sure to stick around, because coming up next, we've got a real humdinger. We've got Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, an all dungeons race. If you've never seen all dungeons, that is a really spicy category. We're going to have it Andy versus Apathy Duck. A great run. You're not going to want to miss that one. And so while we're finishing getting that set up, I'm just going to jump right back into some of y'all's donations here. We have $50 from Kona Rican, donating $1 for every not death in this run. Not sure how that math works. But speaking of math, it seems that the Ori community has all come in here, and they all had something agreed upon beforehand by the sound of it, because we have a lot of the same number. We have $17 from Nico40, $17 for 17 door skips. We have $17 from Tekopar, $17 for 17 door skips. We have $17 from Nintendo Oblivion, $1 per door skip attempt. have $17 from Greasy, $1 for each attempt, and an extra $1 for the first try door skip. Let's go, Vula. Ori hug. And $17 from Ivuki. Hey Vula, greetings from Germany. Here's $1 for each door jump attempt. Love from the Ori community. Lots of love from the Ori community for that run, and what a great run it was. All right, we have $20 from Ben157, $20 for bonus game. Let's see some Mario. That's right, we do still have that Super Mario Odyssey World Peace Run looming as the bonus game 3. It is currently a little bit shy of $30,000. We have managed to get it to the halfway point. We are so close. Come on, friends. We can make it. If you've never seen World Peace in Super Mario Odyssey, that is an amazing category. All sorts of little extra bits that you don't get to see in the other categories. You definitely don't want to miss that. Let's get that one met. Dear Speed friends, with that, my time behind the microphone has come to an end this weekend. Thank you all so much for being with me on this ride. It is, as always, it is a delight and an honor. The last time that smooth transition didn't quite work out, so let's do an elegant one this time. I'm handing you off to Sakura Tsubasa. Once again, thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you next time.
and welcome back to Corona Relief Done Quick. Next up, we have A Link to the Past with Andy and Apathy Duck, all Dungeons Race. We have a few donations here. We have an anonymous $100 donation that says, "Good luck, Andy and Duck." And a friendly reminder that we are, in fact, currently trying to push for that Super Mario Odyssey bonus game at the moment. We are over 52% of the way there. I believe we can make it. $60,000 needed. We are at $31,490. So let's get those donations in so that we can see that game. It is definitely a good watch. We have a $400 donation from Combat Wombat 62 that says, "Here's to a big final day. If we all give what we can make a huge difference together." And we also have a $25 donation from Cat named Norris that reads, "Donating for the first time this weekend in honor of my favorite first-time racer, Apathy Duck. I love you and miss you and hope to see you soon." Andy seems cool too. We have a $50 anonymous donation that reads, "Have enjoyed the runs for the past years. I used it as a way to make moving into a new house. It was fun sitting in each room. I could tune into some of the best players ever." We have a $50 donation from Ormula, which reads, "Been watching GDQs for half a decade now, and I'm always so impressed with how much the speedrunning community can do to make the world a better place. Let's get that world peace run. I know we can do it." We have a $75 anonymous donation that reads, "Have some money I would normally spend on commuting to help PPE to those who need it." have a $25 donation from Dr. Dedrewski. Have to give some money to this awesome relief fund while my favorite host Sakura is helping out. Here's to Sakura, Kelsey, Andy, and Apathy for their contributions this weekend to this awesome event. Pity I can't give these dollars to save the animals in honor of Apathy Duck, but maybe I can at least help Super Mario Odyssey bonus game be met. We have a $50 donation from Ball, which reads, Andy and Apathy Duck doing glitches in a race? Nice. Good luck to you both. Shoutouts to the Bark Park and all the burbs in chat. And salute to Duck, I guess. We have a $500 donation from Candy Ann with no comment. Thank you so